Tiffany Haddish is a successful comedian and actor who was recently profiled in the magazine GQ. In the interview, she suggests that everyone should take a teaspoon of turpentine to cure their colds, but the government doesn't want you to know about that. She also thinks that we all have worms inside our body, and that too can be fixed with turpentine. Yikes, where to start? So obviously, or I guess not obviously enough, you should absolutely not drink turpentine. It's paint thinner, and even smelling it, breathing in the fumes, can make you feel sick. Haddish says, and I quote, "A teaspoon won't kill you," and she might be right, but a tablespoon absolutely can kill you, especially if you're a child. And even adults can die from drinking more than 4 ounces of it. Ugh. It's easy to say that this makes Haddish an idiot, but it's really more complex than that. So she grew up poor, and here in the United States, we're not too great about providing poor people with decent medical care, leading to the proliferation of stupid folk remedies like this that may or may not work and that may or may not kill you. And more than that, Haddish grew up poor and black. She points out to GQ that drinking turpentine was common among slaves, and she's correct. Again, slaves weren't getting the greatest medical care, to put it lightly, but that's about all she's correct about, because she goes on to say that most slaves weren't physically healthy because they didn't have access to turpentine. Again, yikes. Even when slavery was abolished, Black people in the United States had no reason to use or trust established doctors. For instance, you've probably heard of the Tuskegee experiment, in which hundreds of Black men with syphilis were purposely left untreated for 40 years so that doctors could study the progression of the disease. The only reason that ended was because journalists found out about it and exposed it. That's just the biggest, most well-known example of the medical establishment screwing over Black people. But Harriet A. Washington's book, Medical Apartheid, details countless other examples from throughout U.S. history, including the still pervasive myth that Black people feel less pain than white people, or that Black people need a stronger dose of x-rays. She even points out that some of our historical medical heroes have racist underpinnings, as with James Marion Sims, who pioneered techniques to help heal women after they gave birth. But he tested those techniques first on slaves, operating on helpless Black women without even giving them anesthetic, which of course he would later give to the white women after the techniques were perfected. It's this horrific legacy of medical cruelty that has left many Black people, particularly those who are poor and undereducated, to foster an entirely justifiable distrust of doctors, scientists, and the government. So yes, Haddish said an idiotic and dangerous thing, but also an understandable thing. Remember that the basis for this pseudoscience's popularity amongst poor Black people has its origin in rich, white, educated monsters. And speaking of, let's hope Gwyneth Paltrow isn't standing by to offer Haddish a job hawking bottles of turpentine.